You did something to them that nobody else has ever done. And this person, whether this is a crush or your special person, they can't shake it. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a fun one. Spirit is bringing this through loud and clear that, yeah, this person has had other crushes. They've been attracted to other people before. They've flirted with them, maybe even chased them a little bit or complimented them, whatever, but you did something totally different. And it's so funny. I don't even think that you really even know what this is. Like, I don't even think you're aware of it when you do it, okay? But you did something, and you still do this thing. Whatever this is, I'm going to get into it. I want to find out. But you make this person's brain kind of go to mush when they're with you. You do something. You get underneath their skin in the best way. So there's something here, though, that I'm getting about this particular combination of your personality, something you do, and your overall energy, and the way that it all comes together. And yeah, the physical attraction is crazy. It's crazy. Romantic and soft. This person wants to romance you. They can't shake that feeling of wanting to romance you. What did you do to this person? Something that nobody has ever done with them before. Oh my gosh. So they're reacting to you differently. I want to know what they're thinking about when you're not around, and then what are they going to do about it? I hope that comes through. Spirit, please bring that through. Somebody here has been trying to kind of like act normal around you. Like, you know, like you don't really have such a profound effect on them, but I heard liar, liar, pants on fire. Like you do have a profound impact on this person. You are making this person nervous and excited both. Okay, this person is used to people chasing them. Spirit just said you're not doing that. And because you don't do that, that's one of the reasons that you're driving them crazy. You have touched this person's heart too. So it's not just the chasing game. It's not just like physical attraction. You've touched them at a deeper level, which that's hard to do for this person. It's not that they have like a hardened heart or anything like that. It's just that you have this key to their heart. You know exactly what it takes to make them want to, I'm getting the word commit to you. They want to commit to you. They don't just want to use you for one thing and then drop you. Okay, well, you're not a sack of potatoes to this person. Like you are special, way more special. So let's get into it. What did you do to this person? Well, there are people who move through the world accustomed to being wanted. It is a quiet, unspoken currency they have carried for a very long time. They know how it works. They know the rhythm of it. The way someone's eyes linger a second too long, the way people adjust their tone of voice, the way others stumble over themselves, trying to make a good impression. When you grow up or move through life being pursued, you develop a very specific kind of emotional muscle memory. You learn how to receive attention without actually letting it touch you. You learn to smile, to be charming, to say just enough to keep the dynamic pleasant, all while keeping your own heart locked safely behind 3 inches of tempered glass. For people like that, being desired is not a revelation. It is simply the weather. It is the background noise of their social life. They know how to manage someone else's crush with the practiced ease of a seasoned actor who has read a script a thousand times. They know when to lean in, when to pull back, and how to keep the upper hand without ever appearing unkind. And then you showed up and you didn't read from the script at all. What you did to this person was not an aggressive act. It was not a calculated strategy or a manipulative game of playing hard to get. That is the irony of it. If you had played hard to get, they would have known exactly what to do. They understand the game of pursuit. They have mastered the subtle art of the chase. They know how to win people over when people put up artificial walls just to see if they will climb them. What undone them was something infinitely more disorienting. You simply did not participate. You walked into their space with your own life already full. You had your own passions, your own strange and specific sense of humor, your own quiet boundaries that didn't need to be announced because they were simply lived. When they spoke, you didn't laugh just to fill the silence. When they offered charm, you didn't immediately melt. You treated them with kindness, yes, but it was the same calm, grounded kindness you would offer to anyone else. You looked at them not as a prize to be won, not as an ego to be fed, but simply as a human being standing in front of you. And to someone who has spent their whole life being treated like a prize, being treated like a human being, is the most terrifying thing in the world. Here is the quiet psychology that sits at the bottom of this connection. The part that they have not admitted to their friends and certainly have not admitted to you. Being chased makes a person feel powerful, but being seen makes a person feel naked. When people chase you, they are projecting their fantasies onto you. They are chasing an image, an idea, a reflection of what they want you to be. That kind of attention, as flattering as it might be, never actually requires you to show up as your real, flawed, ordinary self. You can stay behind the mask because the mask is what they are applauding. The tragedy of being constantly admired is that you rarely ever feel truly known. When you looked at this person, really looked at them with those clear, perceptive eyes that seemed to bypass all their usual social armor. You weren't looking at the mask. Oh. You looked straight through it. You saw the human underneath the poise. You saw the subtle hesitation behind the confident smile. You saw the fatigue they carry from having to be on all the time. And in that single, unguarded moment of eye contact, you didn't flinch, you didn't fawn, you just stayed there, steady and present. That was the moment their internal compass shattered. They went home that day and tried to shake it off. They told themselves it was nothing, just a momentary spark, a passing curiosity, a quirky interaction that meant very little in the grand scheme of things. They tried to place you in one of their mental categories. Are they playing cool? Are they just shy? Are they uninterested? They ran through their usual catalog of explanations, but none of the labels fit. You weren't ignoring them out of bitterness, because when you spoke to them, you were warm, full. You weren't trying to provoke them because you didn't linger around waiting for a reaction. You were simply whole without them. That realization did not sit quietly in their chest. It began to hum full. Have you ever tried to stop a song that is stuck in your head by telling yourself not to hear it? The harder you try to silence the melodies, the louder the rhythm becomes. That is precisely what happened to their thoughts. They would be in the middle of an ordinary task, making a meal, driving through evening traffic, listening to a coworker drone on about a project, and suddenly, out of nowhere, the memory of your laugh would cut through the noise. Not a polite, rehearsed laugh, but that genuine, unscripted sound you make when something catches you off guard. They found themselves replaying the smallest details. The inflection of your voice when you talked about something you cared about. The way you didn't immediately agree with an opinion they gave, but offered a counterpoint with such casual grace that they didn't even feel challenged. They just felt awake. You probably move through your days completely unaware that your standard for honesty has become someone else's obsession. You think you were just having conversations. You think you were just being polite, just sharing space, just going about your routine. But to someone who has lived on a diet of easy validation and surface level flirtation, a conversation with you feels like drinking clean water after years in the desert. It has substance. It has weight. It leaves a lingering aftertaste of reality that makes everything else they interact with feel hollow by comparison. This is why they have become slightly clumsy around you. Have you noticed the subtle shifts, the way their posture changes when you walk into the room? The way they sometimes speak a little too fast, or laugh a little too loud, or suddenly go completely silent because they are trying so hard not to say the wrong thing. That is not arrogance. Well, that is panic. It is the specific panic of someone who realizes that their usual toolkit is completely useless. They cannot win you over with a smooth line because you see right through smooth lines. Well, they cannot impress you by name dropping or listing their achievements because your sense of value isn't tied to external status. Well, they know with absolute and uncomfortable certainty that the only thing that will ever work with you is the one thing they have spent a lifetime avoiding. Absolute, unvarnished sincerity. And sincerity is expensive. It costs your pride. It costs your safety net. It demands that you stand on the edge of the cliff with no guarantee that the other person will catch you. That is why they are hesitating. That is why they are hovering in this strange tension-filled space between moving forward and pulling back. They know that opening this door is not like opening other doors. With other people, you can step into a romance, test the waters, play around with the chemistry, and step back out if it gets too messy. It is a casual lease with an easy exit clause. But with you, they know instinctively that this is a purchase. This is Pandora's box. Once they say the words, once they look you in the eyes and admit, I cannot stop thinking about you. You have completely dismantled me, and I don't want anyone else. Rena, there is no going back to the comfortable persona they used to inhabit. They will have handed you the map to their deepest vulnerabilities. What terrifies them the most is not that you will reject them, but that you will accept them and then see every single flaw they have spent years hiding from the world. Think about the sheer emotional weight of that. They are used to people wanting them for what they project. You are offering the terrifying possibility of being loved for who they actually are. And while every soul on this planet craves that kind of love at the most fundamental level, almost nobody is truly prepared for the sheer terror of receiving it. Because to be loved for who you are means you can no longer hide behind your achievements, your looks, your humor, or your charm. If you fail while wearing a mask, the mask was rejected. If you fail while standing completely bare, you are the one who was turned away. So they sit in their car after seeing you, gripping the steering wheel, asking themselves why they are acting like an anxious teenager over someone who hasn't even asked them for anything. They look at their phone, they type out a message that is honest, dangerously honest, and then they backspace until only a casual safe sentence remains. And then they delete that too, because even the safe sentence feels like a confession of how much they care. They are caught between the exhaustion of holding it in and the terror of letting it out. Meanwhile, you can continue to exist in your own lane. You are not sitting by the window waiting for a savior. You are not checking your notifications every 30 seconds wondering when someone will validate your worth. You have already done the difficult, unglamorous work of learning to sit with yourself in the quiet. You know what your peace costs, and you are not willing to discount it for anyone's temporary affection. And that more than your physical appearance, more than your style, more than any surface trait, is what makes you completely irreplaceable in their eyes. You represent a kind of emotional maturity that they didn't know they were looking for until they ran into it head on. In a world full of people who are desperate to be chosen, you are someone who chose yourself first. And because you chose yourself, your choice to allow anyone else in carries actual significance. When you give them a compliment, it lands like thunder in their chest because they know you don't hand out praise like cheap flyers on a street corner. When you smile at them across a crowded room, it feels like an exclusive invitation because they know you don't look at everyone that way. You have made your attention valuable simply by refusing to make it cheap, and now the internal pressure inside them is reaching a critical mass. You can only keep a secret from yourself for so long before the weight of it starts breaking your ribs. They have tried distracting themselves. They have tried rationalizing it away. They have probably even tried looking at other people, hoping that someone else could recreate that strange electric spark of recognition they felt with you, but it doesn't work. It never works. Because once you taste something real, the artificial substitutes don't just fail to satisfy you. They actively make you sick. Every conversation with someone else feels like a chore. Every attempt at casual flirtation feels like bad amateur theater. They keep comparing everyone to the benchmark you established without even trying. They aren't as sharp. They aren't as grounded. They don't have that quiet fire. They don't look at me like they actually see me. You have ruined them for the ordinary. So what happens now? What happens when a person who has spent their whole life playing defense finally realizes that the only way to get what they truly want is to drop their weapons entirely? They are going to step forward. Not because they have suddenly found a way to guarantee they won't get hurt, but because the pain of staying silent has finally outweighed the fear of speaking. There is an old ancient truth about human desire. We can endure fear for a very long time, but we cannot endure the thought of losing something meant for us simply because we were too cowardly to reach out our hand. That regret is a poison that works too slowly and burns too deep. They can feel that clock ticking. They know that someone like you does not stay undiscovered forever. They know that your peace, your presence, and your depth are rare commodities in a noisy world. And the thought of watching someone else recognize what they were too afraid to claim is more than their pride can bear. So when they finally come to you, and they will understand the road they had to walk just to stand in front of you with an unsteady voice. It will not look like a smooth, rehearsed romantic speech from a film. It might come out sideways. It might arrive as a sudden, breathless confession after a long silence. It might look like someone whose hands are trembling slightly while they try to tell you something that should be simple, but feels to them like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. Do not mistake that awkwardness for a lack of strength. That awkwardness is the sound of someone's armor coming off. It is the sound of a person who has decided that being real with you is worth the risk of being completely destroyed. It is the highest compliment one human heart can pay to another, not the smooth, effortless charm that costs nothing, but the messy, terrifying, beautiful courage of someone laying down their defenses and saying, I have no idea how to do this safely, but I know I cannot walk away from you. You didn't cast a spell on them. You didn't trick them. You didn't manipulate the outcome. You simply stood in the truth of who you were, unbroken and unbothered, and let the sheer power of your authenticity do the work for you. And now they are ready to meet you there. Not as a trophy, not as a player, but as someone who is finally ready to learn what it means to truly, deeply, and unconditionally love.
We're not going to have to lift a finger when it comes to this love. Like, I'm seeing specifically the image of you traveling with this person in the airport, and they have all of the baggages, including, like, you just have your little purse, like your little, I don't know, I'm getting luxury purse for some reason. Maybe they bought it for you. But you just have your purse, you have your headphones, and then you have your man. And your man's got all the bags. And it just feels like this person is very much, I don't know that this person was always like this for other people. It definitely feels as if you've brought the provider energy out in this person. But I feel like they want to provide for you in all kinds of ways is what's coming through, not just financially, but they want to be somebody that you can rely on, somebody that you can trust. And they feel like for some reason, something in this person feels as if they need to prove their trust to you. And I feel like that has a lot to do with your energy and like the way that you are approaching this connection, because you're no longer just diving into something head first. Like, you're no longer just giving your heart, like, yes, please take everything I am. You're not doing that anymore. You actually passed that test is what I'm hearing. Like, you learned that lesson a time or two ago. And because you are approaching this love connection differently, this person has no choice but to respect you in your Empress energy. They have no choice but to see you in this powerful divine feminine energy. And they are so drawn to it because it pulls the divine masculine out of them. Like, you being so secure in who you are, knowing your worth, knowing how you deserve to be treated, is what calls this person to step up and treat you that way. And so it's not like this, it's not lusty energy. It's more like, what is it? Like devotional energy. It's devotional energy. Because you are devoted to yourself, this person is treating you as if you are this like royalty in a way. And so when it comes to the way that this person is going to be showing up for you, just expect plans to be made. Expect a lot of surprises. I feel like this person is actually really good at surprising you, like with gifts, with thoughtful actions and planning things. But it's literally like, I've got it. Like, I'll take care of it. Like, it's already done kind of energy. Oh, it's already done. Yeah, you deserve this. You have dealt with so much wishy-washy confusion energy. Like, you already know what it's like to be treated by somebody who doesn't actually feel secure with their feelings towards you and doesn't feel like good enough for you, or as if they have something that they can genuinely offer you, because they don't have that connection to their emotional capacity, if that makes sense. Like, they're not able to feel what you're feeling. They're not tuned in energetically to you, or they are and they're just too afraid to take actions on it. So maybe you've dealt with avoidant energy, people who, you know, knew exactly what you were experiencing, saw you going through that, and chose to just leave you to it in a connection with you where you're trying to grow and build together. That doesn't make any sense. And you knew that it didn't make sense. And so it just ran through your nervous system, like tearing things apart, when you've spent so much time trying to put it back together. And so this time, oh, I'm hearing comeback season too. Like, this is your comeback season. This time when things come together for you, it's different. No, this person is going to treat you so differently, because you are no longer going to allow yourself to fall to pieces for somebody else's sense of security. You are no longer giving up your sense of security for somebody else's. And in fact, you remaining present and knowing what it is makes you feel secure, knowing how to speak your mind, knowing how to say what you like and don't like without the fear of if this person is going to stay or not, because you know that if that person is right for you, they are going to stay when you speak your mind. They are going to stay when you have a problem with something they said or did and you let them know that. They are going to stay when you become clear on what it is you actually desire to experience, because it's all for you. When you are existing in your Empress energy, you realize that a masculine coming forward to you, that is their opportunity to prove who they are as a man, not your opportunity to prove who you are as a woman to them. But it is an opportunity for you to prove who you are as a woman to yourself. And that is the difference. That is the key difference between how you are showing up in this connection that's either here for you now or very soon coming in for you, and what you've experienced in the past, who you have been in the past. Because in the past, you've allowed yourself to be pulled off of your throne, away from your center. You've given up those pieces of yourself in order to soothe somebody else's insecurities. Or you've just suppressed what you actually feel because out of fear for losing somebody, because, you know, in your childhood, maybe somewhere along the line, you were punished for revealing how you truly felt, for fully expressing your emotions. And so you learned somewhere along the way to suppress, to ignore, to abandon. But you have worked so hard over the years to become who you are now, and to be able to express yourself. Like, you deserve to be able to express yourself and be met fully. And so when you express yourself to this person, they will meet you fully, and they will carry your bags through the airport. I'm just saying, you're really going to enjoy this love, and they are really going to enjoy you, because they've never met a woman who is so brave in speaking her mind. And I feel like this person is also used to dealing with people who don't really know what they want, or kind of like wishy-washy behavior, uncertainty, childlike insecurity, like in a woman. But that's not you. You don't know what that is anymore. Like, you are actually so firm and secure, or you are in the process of becoming that, of really recognizing yourself, because you're no longer afraid of your emotions. And that is part of like why I love what I do, or such an important part, because when you are able to just sit with everything that you are and recognize how powerful, how beautiful, how unique you are, and recognize that it is safe to feel your feelings, it is safe to feel the discomfort of growth, and that you never deserved anything that you experienced in past connections throughout your childhood, it actually allows you to like be that person that you need, which then allows somebody else to come in and also be that person that you deserve. You deserve to have genuine connection. There's no reason, like, there is nothing that you have experienced that is a reason to why you should not be deserving of a love that chooses you, of a love that supports you, of a love that gives to you, of a love that nourishes you. And so part of the ritual work that I do, breaking through those barriers, releasing all of that stored and stuck energy, part of releasing stored and stuck energy is just acknowledging that it's there.